Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my respectful lecturer, Madam Nur Azira binti Ismail. So today, me and my fellow groupmates, which is me, Muhammad HISYAM bin RAHMAN, and my fellow groupmates, Muhammad Fikri bin Shakre and Muhammad AIMAN bin AZRI, is going to discuss about sources of revenue in Malaysia. So actually, this topic falls under the topic of public finance. So I will explain about a little bit about public finance. So in public finance, we will study about how government control their finances and how the government increases its resources to encounter its increasing expenditure. So in public finance, there is two concepts, which is government revenue and government expenditure. So today I'm going to talk about the government revenue. So what is government revenue? Government revenue is money collected by the government from various sources and earned by government from taxes levied on income and wealth accumulation of individuals, and non-tax revenues such as fees, penalties and non-revenue receipts, and also to enable it to undertake the government expenditure. This is why the government need the government revenue. The country need a government revenue. So in government revenue, there is actually three components of government revenue, but there is two major components in government revenue, which is the first one is from tax revenue, and the second one from the non-tax revenue. Under the tax revenue, there is two other components, which is from direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax is where the burden of tax falls on the taxpayer and cannot be shifted to someone else. For example, individual income tax and company income tax. These are the tax that every company or every person need to pay when they receive at a certain level of income. And the second one is indirect tax, where burden of tax can be shifted on someone else. For example, sales tax and service tax. Let me give you an example. Give you a situation. For example, the government imposed tax to the seller for about let's say 10%, and then the seller itself can shift the tax to the buyer or the consumer. They can include the tax prices in the goods that they were selling. The example of indirect tax. Second one is non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue is revenues which arise from other sources besides tax. For example, service fees, sales of goods, and interest and returns on investment. This there's no relation with tax at all. And the third one is about non-revenue receipts. Non-revenue receipt includes refunds of expenditures, interdepartmental credit, refunds of overpayment, erroneous payment, and reimbursement. Also, contribution from government departments and statutory bodies and government-owned enterprises.
Okay, we move to the next part, the summary of macroeconomic issue, which is sources of revenue in Malaysian government from 2015 to 2019. From the collected data, it shows that government income is fluctuated. It indicates that government has faced economic problem at the period. Also, the global recession affect the government income. In 2019, the world have faced the global recession due to the economic war between US, China, then US military also also killed the general of Iran, Qasem Soleimani, and also the last one is pandemic coronavirus. So we can see the revenue of Malaysia is decreased in 2019 between the others because of the globalization effect to the income of Malaysia government. In 2015, the previous government has introduced the new government policies, which is GST by 6% to the citizen. In that year, the revenue of Malaysia government increased drastically until to the 2018 half of the year, because in the 2018 the grand election has made the UMNO parties collapse and the PH win the election. So the PH government introduced the old system policies, which is SST, to the citizen, but the revenue for the Malaysia is decreased slowly. So that's all for the summary of the macroeconomic issue.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you the data of direct tax revenues in Malaysia throughout the year from 2015 to 2019. So as I explained before, direct tax revenue is a tax that being imposed on the taxpayer, that falls on the taxpayer and cannot be shifted to someone else. And the example of direct tax revenues in Malaysia is companies income tax, petroleum income tax, individuals income tax, stamp duties and others. So now I'm going to show you the chart and the trend of the revenues for each income tax throughout the year. So the first one is companies income tax. As we can see from the chart, we can see that the income tax revenue increased until 2018 and decreased at 2019. So the highest amount is in 2018, which is 66,474 million, and the lowest is in 2019, which is 32,001 million. So it makes the average of 58,048.8 million from 2015 to 2019. So the next one is petroleum income tax, which is the highest. For petroleum income tax, we can see that from 2015 and 2016 there is a decrease in amount, and afterwards from 2016 to 2018 the amount kept increasing and then decreased again in 2019. So the highest amount is in 2018, which is 20,082 million, and the lowest is in 2016, which is 8,442 million. It means the average of 9,999.2 million from 2015 to 2019. The next one is individuals income tax revenue. Individuals income tax, as we can see, the pattern is keep increasing from 2015 until 2018 and then falls back down in 2019. So the highest amount is in 2018, which is 32,605 million. The lowest is in 2019, 16,117 million, and the average from 2015 to 2019 is 26,310.8 million. Next one is stamp duties. For stamp duties, we can pretty say that the pattern is quite constant. The increase and decrease is not to contradict, so we can see a straight line in the chart. For stamp duties, the highest amount is in 2015, which is 5,974 million. The lowest in 2019, 2,972 million. and the average for the tax revenues for stamp duties is 5,244.6 million from 2015 until 2019. For the others for the others tax revenues, also the amount throughout the year is not to contradict, so the pattern we see in this chart is somehow a straight line, quite similar with the stamp duties. So it means the highest amount is in 2017, which is 5,188 million, and the lowest is in 2019, 2,598 million, and the average throughout the year is 4,256 million. So you guys must be asking why there is increase and decrease in the income tax revenue. I found a quite interesting theory on this tax rate and the tax revenue. This theory is made by a supply side economist named Arthur Laffer, which is made, the theory name is Laffer curve theory. The Laffer curve describes the relationship between tax rates and the total tax revenue. So it means with an optimal tax rate that can maximizes the total government tax revenue. It means when the tax rate is low, it can increase the incentive of people to work and can increase the total tax revenue. But when the tax rate is too high, it can decreases the incentives of people to work and can make the total tax revenue decreases. So that's the relation between tax rate and the tax revenue.